Welcome back. If you are just watching this video after watching my last video I put out on wild rides and what happened, this is kind of part 2 to that video. A quick recap for others that have not seen it. I travel around the country shooting drag racing videos, and this is a collection of some of the wild rides that I have filmed. And I would like to explain exactly what happened on the ones that I actually talked to the drivers and others where I didn't, and I would like to give an armchair explanation of what I think happened and show you some things I saw in slow motion in the video. So let's get started. Right out of the gate, I would like to talk about this orange 1974 AMC Gremlin that you may have already recognized from other viral videos on the internet. This is owned by Brian Ambrosini, who is also the nickname of the Wheelie King. He has entered this car every year into the famous Byron wheel stand competition since 1998 and has won the overall longest wheelie and the whole competition 6 times. In doing so, he for sure has had some wild rides over the years, but in this next video, it was one of the craziest I have ever seen so far. As you can see, the car really just gets crossed up, and the inertia from going side to side in such a short wheelbase vehicle ends up just flipping it on its lid. One thing that I noticed and confirmed is that the nitrous switch is pedal activated on this car, and you can hear one more stab at the throttle right after the car landed and really put all of this into motion. And I don't know for sure if the stab of the throttle was by accident from the hard landing or if it was in the heat of the moment while trying to win one of the biggest wheelie competitions of the year. Either way, he is a tough dude and walked away from this and rebuilt the car again looking good as ever for the next year of competition. So when I was watching this crash happen right in front of where I was seated, I couldn't help to laugh when I saw those people on the wall scatter like cockroaches when the car came and tapped the cement barrier like it did. What a bunch of idiots. But sure enough, I found out my friend Sean was right there at the point of impact and was filming with his cell phone camera and was gracious enough to let me share the video with you. Let me know in the comments below if you would have the guts to stand by the wall like that. Now on to what I think caused this crash. It was actually at an Anarchy No Prep event, so the track was a bit slick, but I don't think that had everything to do with this incident. After reviewing a race I had filmed a year before of this car at the same event, you can see that when he launches, the front tires are off the ground a few inches for the first 60 feet or so, and the car is hooking to the right slightly. I think, but I don't know 100% for sure, but I would say the car probably has always gone to the right a bit and the driver just corrected it each time. But in the race in which he flipped it, he probably let it go a little further than he should have, trying to win the race and ended up overcorrecting it and things were out of his hands at that time. But I also could be wrong. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So yeah, that was a crazy crash, but let me give you a quick explanation on what is going on here. I live in Wisconsin, and we don't let the long cold winters stop us from drag racing. And since 1965, in Merrill, Wisconsin, they have been setting up an 8th-mile drag strip with the Christmas tree lights, timing markers, and the whole 9 yards. It's the real deal, and you just have to get some studded tires and some traction because the drag strip is on frozen Lake Alexander, which has a bay area that looks perfect for a drag strip every year. Now onto the incident in the video. The vintage drag car, Little Varmint, traveled all the way from Tennessee with a group of racers in the Southeast Gassers Association, and they wanted to challenge the racers in Wisconsin to show them what they got. and also they can get some testing in before they kick off their racing schedule you can see up on the screen now. So this vintage drag car Little Varmint has a few disadvantages going into this race, even though he did do some great passes earlier in the day, with the car being a stick shift, super lightweight, very fast, and unfamiliar with ice racing. This car was bouncing side to side when shifting gears, and he got a little too close to the right hand side of the track and caught his front tire on the snow berm, and it sucked him into the middle of the track and flipped him. This is a tough one to call because initially it looks like the Chevelle might have blown his engine and got into some fluid and spun. But in the slow-mo replay, both are nitrous cars and let off the throttle before the 8th mile and shoot flames out the exhaust like you would normally expect of a nitrous car. But right after the Chevelle gets off the throttle, it sends his car pointing to the wall hard enough that the right rear tire is already off the ground. Then he corrects the spin, hits the right rear tail of the car on the 8th mile marker timing light. And I still don't see any fluids raining down on the track at all. Let me know what you think in the comments below. This is one of the wildest saves I have ever witnessed personally, and I'm proud to say that my friend James Strange was behind the wheel on this one. Amazingly, he actually won the race and also kept it off the wall to race again the next day. I talked to him right after and asked him what happened, and he assumed something let loose in the rear suspension and caused it to kick out. Later that day, they went through every nut and bolt on the rear suspension and did not find anything out of place or the cause of this crazy slide. I did also ask James at any point did you feel that you were not going to be able to save it? He told me that there was not one moment that he felt he wasn't going to be able to get out of the spin. And I'm thinking to myself, man, you have to watch the replay then. I'm thinking at least right at this point, you would have to think we are either flipping or going nose into the wall. I'm just glad things worked out for him and he was able to give me an amazing video. Thanks, James. Alright, I have a couple more wheelie cars to break down what I think happened. This one is just wild to watch in slow motion, but I feel what the cause is for him going to the left is the wheelie bars hit so hard that it lightly lifts the rear tires and makes them wobble, and one gets more traction than the other, and the right rear tire ended up getting the most traction and pointing the car to the left. More evidence this is a consistent problem is the run he did earlier, in which you can see it slightly makes the same move. He must have really given it the beans in the wheelie that crossed him up. Alright, this next one is similar to the previous wheelie in the sense that it pointed to the left, but I don't think the cause is the same. He has no wheel shake, but if you look at his left front tire, where it starts and then it ends when the wheelie comes down, the car slowly moves to the left-hand side of the track. This could be one of three things: rear shock adjustment, wheelie bar adjustment, or tire pressure. Any or all of these I feel could make this beautiful Chevelle wheelie straight as an arrow down the track. And just like with the previous car, the Chevelle did a pass earlier in the day in which he slightly moved to the left, but the ending wasn't as wild as the other one. Thank you so much for watching. If you did not catch my previous video on wild rides and what happened, then click on the picture on the left. And if you'd just like to support my channel, then watch the random video in the picture on the right. Have a great day!